Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of my personal collection of the Lakers. And if you missed part 1, I'll leave the link in the description. But basically in that part 1, I tackled all of the Lakers players cards that I have that are not wearing the Lakers jerseys. It's a thick bunch. Okay, I'm not gonna show you any of them so that you'll watch the video. Um, yeah, it's a really great video, and there were some storytelling here and there, and I hope you give it a watch as well before going through with this video. But you can also finish this first and go back to the other one. um Again, if you can, I'm really trying to grow this channel, so any way you can help me by liking on this video, commenting, sharing it with your friends and family, and also subscribing and hitting that bell. I know you hear it all the time from other YouTubers, but what's one more person to support, right? At the end of the day, I just really love talking about NBA and basketball, and I love collecting NBA cards. And this is a platform, and this is a way for me to talk about my passion of basketball and the NBA through a medium and using NBA cards. Anyway, let's continue on with the video. And again, these are my two favorite top Lakers of all time, Kobe and Magic. And I have this Funko Pop of Kobe right here, number 11 NBA Funko Pop. And just a quick recap, my personal collection is the Lakers. As long as they're not wearing even if they're not wearing a Lakers jersey, as long as I have their card and they were part of the Lakers, they're part of my PC. Okay, now that that's settled, let's start with number 1. Mr. Rory Sparrow. I don't really recognize who he is. Probably was too young or not. Probably not even born during this time. Sorry, I'm looking at his stats. Yeah, the stats are. Don't know if you can see that. Um, Trying to refocus here. Come on, focus. Anyway, can't see it, but it says 85, 86, all the way to 90 and 91. So I wasn't even born during that time. I won't tell you how old I am, but definitely I wasn't born during this time. But he is wearing the Lakers jersey, and that's a really nice Lakers jersey, and he's a teammate of Mr. Magic Johnson right there. So I'm keeping this card definitely, and it's an upper deck from a repack from Hobbies. Sorry, no, from on court, from courtside. Rory Sparrow. This one I do know, and he was part of the championship Lakers team. I have a prism from a courtside repack. It's a courtside single. Javale McGee. Mr. Javale McGee. From Shaq and a Fool to champion. Can you believe that? It's a nice card. Next up. Not for the Lakers anymore, but was part of the championship Lakers team. And he is wearing a really nice Lakers jersey. I like the white. Actually, it's Danny Green. I really like their white jerseys, but the iconic yellow, of course, is still number 1. From my Illusions pack from a few months ago. Danny Green. Now playing for... Is he still in the Sixers or did he get traded? Man, I can't remember. Next up, still a Laker, and a very important player for the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma. I'm so relieved. I was so relieved when he got saved from that trade. Which, honestly, though, leave it in the comments. That was a gift from the Pelicans, because they could have easily asked for Kuzma and the Lakers would have included him. But I feel like the GM for the Pelicans, I'm missing the name, but he was LeBron's GM in Cleveland before. What's his name? I can't remember. Maybe that was just a friendly gesture to not include Kuzma anymore. Because the Lakers were willing to give up Kuzma for Anthony Davis for sure, but it came from from the Pelicans itself not to include Kuzma anymore. Lucky break for them, thanks to LeBron and his friendliness, I guess. Okay, next I have four cards of this player, and luckily I really like this player. I have three of them are not wearing the Lakers jersey, but I have another one that's wearing the Lakers jersey. I'll start with the ones that he's not wearing it. Brandon Ingram, the number 2 pick from 2016, All Star. Should have been on All Star this year. I have his Chronicles. Pulled it from a blaster. No, from a hanger. Pulled it from a hanger. An NBA Hoops from a box break. And I have an Illusions green from a blaster of Illusions. And this is my Brandon Ingram card with the Lakers jersey on. Very nice. I really like this optic card. It's really nice looking, and that effect of like an embossed finish, it's really really nice. He was one of my favorite youngsters at the time. They said he was like the next Kevin Durant, but so far I think he has that look just because he's very lanky and he can also shoot from outside and anywhere in the court. But to me, his style is a bit more aggressive compared to Durant, because Durant's a lot of finesse, whereas with Ingram it's a lot more aggressive. Next up, this is one of my favorite Lakers of all time, and he is the youngest player to ever get drafted in the NBA and to ever play in an NBA game. The center for the 2009 and 2010 Lakers championship teams, Andrew Bynum. Here it's already an inside presence. It already says that he was gonna go to Philadelphia as part of that Dwight Howard trade, but he's still wearing the Lakers jersey here. But let's focus on this one. This is from an early days Bynum. Look at that. He was so raw when they drafted him in 2005. But boy, did he become a star for them. Unfortunately, he couldn't continue his fortunes in Philadelphia and elsewhere, but during his time with the Lakers, he was even probably the second best player at the time. Really good. One of my favorites, Andrew. Next up, this guy gives me. This is when LeBron went to the Lakers, and he was already in his. He was already at the latter part of his career. It reminded me of Will Chamberlain, because he also joined the Lakers at the later part of his years. Yeah. Wilt the Stilt, rest in peace. This is a very nice, another optic retro series. And come on, the 100-point man playing for the Lakers. The Lakers get everyone. Now, and I mean, I understand the hate that the Lakers get. It's because they get everyone, but at the same time, why wouldn't you want to play for the Lakers, right? Sorry to all the Boston fans, but why wouldn't you want to play for the Lakers? Got this from a courtside repack. I did a video. I'll also leave a link in the description of that video. Next up. Okay, I have a current LA Laker, and I have two of his cards. One doesn't wear the Lakers jersey. This is one of the cards that I opened from my box break collection from Hobbies and Show. Anthony Davis. Slam. Look at that beautiful card. This card is one of my favorites. So clean. So nice. Sorry, I'm spinning it a lot, but the detail on this, I really, really give props to NBA Hoops Panini and NBA Hoops for doing a great job with transferring a cover of a magazine perfectly into a card. So nice. The brow, the one, Anthony Davis. The hype for him was intense in 2011, 2012. I mean, leading Duke. Oh, sorry, leading Kentucky. And this is the Lakers version that I have. Kind of like a timeline here from the New Orleans Hornets to the Lakers. Very, very. He's a very, very good player. I mean, LeBron wouldn't have a championship if it wasn't for AD being his co-captain. And kudos to AD for taking a bit of a backseat role to let LeBron lead, but with him still being a very close. It's almost like option one and option A, if that makes any sense. Next up, I was debating who I would show last, but okay, this is the second to the last. Um, you know what? I'm gonna change it up. Yeah, let's do. So this was supposed to be my last card to show, but I switch it up. This next person I'm gonna show you is probably gonna end up in the books as one of the greatest players of all time. Maybe the greatest player of all time. Still don't know. I mean, for me, it's still Kobe. It will always be Kobe. But this guy is making a great case for himself. And I think you already know who I'm talking about. It's Mr. LeBron James. LeBron. I have two of his cards from Chronicles. I got an classic insert for LeBron James, where it says that he shares the birthday with Tiger Woods. What a birthday! What a day! Sharing LeBron and Tiger Woods together in one day. Wow! And the Panini Classic. And this NBA Hoops card that I pulled myself from a blaster. And I think the centering is really nice. I mean, I don't really need to say anything much about LeBron James. I feel like everyone knows already. 4-time champion, multiple time finals participant. I don't want to even count anymore. I don't remember. But he really is one of the best to ever play the game. The his longevity and his IQ and just the way his game evolved from just a purely dominant inside scorer slasher to becoming one of the best passers and all around players in the NBA, to have ever played in the NBA, to have ever played the game of basketball. Kobe is still for me the GOAT, and Michael Jordan and LeBron James are tied for second. Or maybe I'm just being biased right now because Kobe's my favorite player of all time. But LeBron James definitely GOAT status. And I'm really happy he plays for the Lakers and I have his cards. And the very last, you can't talk about Lakers lore without bringing up this behemoth giant of a man. His personality is even bigger than the body that he carries. And he is a doctor. And I'm sure he holds a master's degree as well. It's the Shaqtus, the Big Daddy Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal. One of the strongest forces to have ever played in the NBA, literally. He pushed every single player he played against with. Let's start with this one first. I got this from a gift. I bought multiple singles of LA Lakers players from a seller on Facebook, and he told me, "Hey, I'm gonna throw in a prism of Shaquille O'Neal," and I was like, "Wow, thank you very much, thank you, I'll take it." And I got lucky. He gave this really nice prism of Shaquille O'Neal over there, over there. Oh, look at that, so nice, so nice. Like LeBron, I don't really have to say much more about this giant, other than he was one of the most dominant. He is one of the most dominant players to have ever played in the NBA. I mean, try defending against him. I don't think that's even humanly possible. He destroys rings and destroys backboards, for crying out loud. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the best to ever play. One of the best to ever play. I had to repeat that just to emphasize. And this is from Illusions. This is an acetate, Living Legends of Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, look at that. He's even bigger here. My goodness. Pulled this myself from that Illusions fat pack that I opened. And yeah. So sad that he had to leave and had that controversy with Kobe. But for the most part, the time that he was with the Lakers, from 96 all the way to 2004, those were some of the best years of the Lakers ever. And I don't think there will be anyone like Shaq ever again in the NBA. Shaquille O'Neal. And okay, that was it. 2 videos about my personal collection so far. I have some cards coming in soon, and from what I remember, there are more Lakers there, although those are not wearing the Lakers uniforms, unfortunately. I'm continuing to build my collection. This is just me starting out the past few months. This has been my collection so far, but definitely I will be collecting more, and I'll continue to build my collection, and I'm gonna give you an update about how my collection is going. But for now, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that notification bell and sharing it with your family and friends. I hope to get your support in growing this channel. I hope you're enjoying my content so far. I know I talk a lot about basketball, and I talk too much, but it's just really my passion. If it's not that obvious yet. And again, thank you for all the support, and I hope to see you guys in the very next video. Thank you, and stay safe, and thanks for watching.